Engines roar on a moonlit stage, steel beasts roll a distant wage. Truckers' voices crying through the night, tales of speed and endless fight. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues, truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels in endless miles, stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways call our name. In this life, we find our fame. Neon lights and diner blues, truck stops where we share the news. Turning wheels and endless miles, stories fill the smoky aisles. Miles and miles, all our strength we give. Hauling dreams, we fight to live. Lonely highways.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good out there in trucking land, or if you're home already had your trucking day, I hope you're doing good and enjoying it, and enjoying it. I doubled in there, but hey, we got a great show lined up for y'all tonight. We got a two-part show for you tonight. We got Mr. Mike Whitehead coming on here from the great state of. Is it North Dakota or South Dakota? I cannot remember. Mike, give me a thumbs up which one it is, North or South? It's North Dakota. Okay. I get all mixed up sometimes. It's kind of like South Dakota. Okay. It's kind of like North Georgia and South Georgia. I know where I'm from. I'm from South Georgia down here in God's country. But I hope where you're at tonight, you're having fun. You're doing what you know to do. Hey, got a lot of stuff going on in the trucking industry. I seen that we had some professional drivers today that was up there for the bill signing in D.C. Some of those professional drivers I know personally, and they were standing right there beside our president. And you know what? I couldn't be more proud that a professional truck driver was standing in the White House representing you and I today. So, if you see them out there on Facebook, you need to tell them, say, hey, thank you for what you do, because they was representing you and I. And what a great bill he signed today. So, you know what? I feel like everything's starting to move in the right direction, and it's starting to get the right path there. But hey, without me getting too political, I better hush right now. But just to tell you a little bit about the show tonight, we got Mr. Mike Whitehead coming on here. We also, at the bottom of the hour, we're going to bring on Mr. Tim Chelette, and we're going to see what's going on. We've had Tim on as a guest before, but right now he's in a different capacity of the trucking industry, and we're going to let him come on and tell everybody what he's got going on and what's changed in his career there. But man, I tell you what, a lot of TDCs going on this weekend. I know Florida, they're having their truck driving championship down there. Let's see, what was it? 367 competitors down in the state of Florida. Wouldn't you like to compete against that? I'm going to tell you what, top-notch drivers down there. It's almost like a national truck driving championship down there. So you better bring your A game. You better know your backroom stuff, and you better have a good day on that course. All I got to say. But my good friend Eddie Pennington, he retired this year. He's down there helping them out. But I tell you, I did not realize that Eddie was 18-time state champion down in the state of Florida. Man, I tell you what, and I heard somebody tell me he was the winningest driver down there consecutively there. So, if that's a pretty good record there. And I know there's some other drivers out there that's got records just like that. And I think Mr. Mike Whitehead, he's got a pretty good record himself there of the truck driving championships. But hey, we thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I want everybody to remember that we are on Facebook. We are actually on YouTube, iHeartRadio, and we're also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we got it covered, y'all. YouTube also. Thank y'all for tuning in over there on YouTube tonight. We appreciate everybody that's on YouTube, but we get it out there. I tell you what, we are shifting gears and we getting with it right here at Truckers Voices. Hey, you know what? We're not on that top line of being off duty. We're on duty and we're driving this show tonight. So let me bring my old buddy in here, Steve Brand. Let him talk to everybody real quick like before we bring our guest on tonight, okay? Steve-O, what's going on, buddy?
We're getting ready to get with it, baby. We're getting ready to get with it. It's time to pick them up, put them down this week. So, how you doing, Tim?
I'm not riding dirty tonight.
Yeah, my truck's pretty dirty. I'm clean.
Steve,
You know.
Talk to me, brother. There's a lot going on in your life, man. Tell everybody what you got going on in your life there, and just let every professional driver out there know who you are, because I'm proud to know you, man.
Where should I start? I mean, this has been a fantastic year. 2025 has been a fantastic year, I'm telling you. And been pretty busy with my road team stuff. Last week, I spent 4 days out in Madison, Wisconsin at the historical truck show. That's where I come from Thursday night. And, man, what an awesome show. Some beautiful trucks. Them guys, man, they take some pride in their ride now, I'm telling you. But next week, you talked about TDCs. I'm headed to North Dakota. So, just getting after it, baby. Getting after it, trying to study that book because, I'm going to Minneapolis. It's been 11 years, but here I go.
Let me tell y'all something. If y'all don't know it, Steve threw up a 285 on the driving course, and that's pretty unheard of.
I don't know how I did it. I just, you know what I did? I did what everybody tells you to do.
I know what it was. Somebody come around that course, and they said, "We feel kind of sorry for him. We're just going to give it to him." How about that?
Exactly, buddy. Exactly. I was passing out $50 bills to the judges as I drove by.
Hey, you better watch out. Somebody will take that serious now.
Exactly. They was monopoly money. It was.
Yeah.
You see them.
Here's a good time. Here's a good time to say that right there, Steve. Go ahead and say it.
Exactly. The views expressed on this show are those of the host and the guest only, and do not reflect those of others. So, I'm trying to think who it was. Somebody down at the truck show. They had $100 bill. It was a little business card. And it had $100 bill, and it looked like $100 bill, but you flip it over, and it was truckparking.com.
Oh, Evan Shelley with truckparking.club.com.
They come up with $100 bill, and then you flip it over, and it's for truckparking.com. It's just a fake $100 bill, but it was cool. It's an attention getter. It was.
You know what's cool, Steve, as far as the podcast goes and the trucking industry and some of the people that we've met over the years. Evan Shelley with truckparkingclub.com. We've had him on the show, and man, it was just awesome to have him on here. Man, we have met a lot of people, and tell them real quick, because we don't want to belabor this real long, because we got a lot to get to tonight. But tell them who else you met at the truck show and who we may have coming on here in the near future.
Well, I'm sure you all seen the BJ and the Bear truck. Paul Sagehorn has brought that back to life. He takes it around. I met him, talked to him. Possibly, I'm gonna leave it I'm not gonna say a name. Possibly we might have the driver of that truck. Used to drive that truck on the show. But anyhow, real quick, yesterday I went to a luncheon in downtown Columbus with the Ohio Trucking Association. Got to meet with some senators, some state representatives. Ohio Trucking Association has put together a trucking caucus, and it's going to get drivers and company personnel along with the governmental side so we can talk about it. Ohio is putting in 1,200 parking spaces in the next year.
That's awesome.
They are adding 1,200 parking spaces, and everybody's on board. Everybody I talked to yesterday, they're on board to support this trucking industry. So that's a
Hey, Steve.
thing. Yes.
Steve, tell everybody about this right here.
Oh, hey, we got some T-shirts. Got a little iron on there, looking good, baby. Just email Tim or myself what size you want. We'll get them out there. $20 shirt.
$20 shirt, we'll get it to you. You know, it helps support the show. We don't make any money off the show. Everything we do goes back into supporting the show there, as far as keeping it on the air.
Yes. We are here to bring you information.
And I do want to thank one of our major sponsors, Mr. Them. I just had a mental blank.
Yeah. Scott and Nancy Post. Thank you.
Scott and Nancy Post. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Oh, I'm sorry, Nancy. I forgot. I just had a mental block. But thank y'all very much for supporting the show.
It's that parking in the fuel oil and taking that 30-minute break.
That's right, Steve. That's right. Oh, yeah. Y'all go check out my TikTok. I kind of did a TikTok not too long ago, and it's pretty funny. But some people don't like it.
Yes. Well, come on, people. The views expressed
on this show are the host and the guest only and do not reflect those of others. Let's go ahead and bring Mr. Mike Whitehead
over to TikTok too, so come on, people.
All right, we'll bring Mike on here on the champion song. And hey, I see you down there, Tim Chelette. We'll get to you at the bottom of the show, okay, brother? Just hang tight with us. Give us a thumbs up there, Tim. All right, we see you. All right.
Rock and roll.
Welcome to Truckers Voices, Mike Whitehead. How in the world are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. I mean, this is such an honor and a privilege to be on here with you two guys. I mean, you do so much for the trucking industry. This is awesome.
Well, we thank you for taking your time out to come on here, and we want to get into it here because we got a packed show tonight. So we're going to get into it with you here, and we want to know we got some questions. Actually, we got some questions ahead of time tonight. Normally we do it off the dome, but tonight we wanted to kind of follow a little format, and we want to get to some of these questions tonight there, Mike. So anyway, let's go ahead and so tell us how you first got into the trucking industry and what inspired you to become a driver.
Well, actually, when I was a little boy, my grandpa had a truck. He's an owner operator, hauled grain around different places. And I can remember when I was a little kid, like we'd get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, had to have the Eggo waffles, every morning before we left, and hop in the truck. And I mean, we went trucking. So ever since then, I pretty much knew that that's something I wanted to do. All the other little kids want to talk about fire trucks and policemen. Well, I wanted to be a trucker. So
ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No, and everybody has a story, and we know that the stories are a little bit longer than that. And my story is kind of similar, but I know you're a farmer, and I grew up on the farm, and that's where my passion for the trucking industry come in. But go ahead, Steve.
Okay.
Next.
He just throws it. It's like, I got a thought going through my head. He's like, go for it, So how long you been trucking, Mike?
Well, I've been a professional driver for 39 years. I got like 4 million safe driving miles. So
nice. Now, how long you been with the current company that you're with?
The current company I've been with, I'm 24 years as May 21st.
Okay. And I know that's a major LTL carrier. What was it like to get hired? What was the procedure? Because I know it's not easy to get on with an LTL carrier. Are you used to it?
This is kind of another funny story because I hauled grain and cattle. I mean, that's all basically I did. Well, with the farming industry getting slower and slower, the feed business was kind of going more to the big corporate entities of the farming industry. And I decided I was going to try something different. So I went to the Yellow Pages and I just started calling different freight companies and finally got on with this one here.
Did you ever run coast to coast?
No, I did not. I mean, I stayed pretty much up here in the Midwest.
Right. Right. And then you got on with your LTL carrier.
Yep.
Was it difficult to get on with them?
It was a process. It took a while. I mean, with the background checks and everything, yes. I mean, I suppose it took me 4 months or so to get on. And like I said, I had no idea what the LTL business was like because I never been around it or anything. I wish I'd have done this a long time ago.
Right. Exactly. I don't regret my first 7 years, but I love the last 29. I'm telling you. You know.
No, absolutely.
So, Mike, I want to jump in there real quick, and I want to ask you, have you ever hauled anything, done anything other than LTL? Have you ever hauled like cattle and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's how I started out, hauling grain and cattle, livestock. Hauled a few pigs, not a lot, a few sheep, but mostly cattle. We would bring them out of pasture and bring them back in the yards, or take them, to other areas. Pack cattle.
Okay. All right. So compared to, what's a day in the life like for an LTL driver compared to some of the other stuff that you've done in the past?
For me, it is way easier. I mean, when I was hauling grain and hauling feed, I had a auger trailer that we'd haul 24 ton of bulk feed in. And you had to get inside the trailer and scoop it all out into these little augers or pits on the floor of the trailer. And some of that stuff would be stuck so hard, you'd have to use a potato fork to chip it. And it's so dusty, you couldn't. Yeah. So this LTL is, way better.
I got you. Yeah, and I remember whenever I was, first got my CDLs, I got them as an ice cream truck driver, Class B, and then I kind of graduated myself to a Class A, working for Pepsi Cola. And then I was like, you know what? After 2 years, I'm kind of tired of doing that. I was young. I didn't mind changing jobs. And I went and got all my endorsements for, so I could get on with a freight company. And from going from Pepsi Cola to the freight company, I was like, whoa, I like this a whole lot better than throwing drinks around, and throwing drinks and throwing beer around is pretty hard,
Well, just like when I was hauling feed, we'd also have bag feed in there. So we'd have 10 bags on a pallet. Then you take it down a ramp, put it in, into the dealer's storage area. And yeah, I remember when I first started at this company, we had an account where it had a bunch of tires. And the guys were complaining about rolling tires off the back. I said, really, guys? You just stand and roll the tires to the back, and that's hard work? Yeah, no, it's...
Oh, I used to make a game out of that, man. Whenever I get a trailer full of laced up tires, and I would put a tire at the very back of the trailer and just take it up and bounce it and watch it roll down. And, it was fun to me. I made a game out of it. But go ahead, Steve-O.
Yeah, that's called a kick tire. You put that tire down there because it kicks, buddy. I mean, it kicks. I had 3 guys unload my trailer one time, and I was so far ahead of them. There's tires everywhere at the end of that trailer. I was kicking them out. And they're like, hold on, man. We can't keep up. But Mike, you've been out here for 39 years. What kind of changes have you seen?
Oh, wow. When I first started driving, I mean, we didn't have power steering. So right. And when I'm young, I mean, I almost had to stand up with both hands just to try to turn that truck. I mean, that's just one of the examples, but
don't forget the steering wheel was this big. Right?
Well, this is true. It was a big steering wheel, an old cab over, And I guess now, we got so much technology as far as lane departure, collision avoidance. There's so much technology now to help keep us safe and keep people around us safe. It's major improvement.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So, Mike, let's talk about something. Like I said earlier in the show, there's a lot of TDCs kicking off, and lots going on this weekend. But let's talk about some of your championship wins. You've won several state truck driving championships. So, how did you first get involved in the competition? Kind of tell us how that evolved.
I've always been very competitive. I mean, my mom rodeoed run barrels. I rodeoed through high school 4-H, even like South Dakota Rodeo Association and the PRC. I even team roped in that. So I've always been competitive. We did cowboy mounted shooting for a while, where you ride a horse, shoot a balloon up with 45. Yeah. So somebody brought up to me about doing the truck driving championships. I didn't know nothing about it. Absolutely nothing. I didn't even know there was such a thing. This truck rodeo. So yeah, and in 2005, I think was my first year competing, and I got third that year, second the following year. Then 2007, I actually made it to nationals in Minneapolis.
So it's in Minneapolis this year. So since then, how many actual state championships have you won, and have you ever won a national championship?
I've been to nationals 14 times out of 18 years that I've been competing. 2014, I couldn't compete because my daughter graduated from high school. Then we had COVID them 2 years. But I won in 2018. I think it was in Columbus. I won best pre-trip. So, I mean, to me, that was a big honor. You got 430 some people you're going against, and I got best pre-trip. So I felt pretty proud about that.
Yeah, that's something.
Then in 2022, when we came back, I was in the top 5 in the twins class, but that's as far as I've made it.
But you made it up to the top 5 several times, right?
No, that was the only time I ever made it. I've been close, but yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I keep trying. One of these years, I'm going to be there.
Got you.
Two-part question for me, because you was doing the rodeoing and stuff. When somebody called it a truck rodeo, did your eyes get wide open? You're like, what? You know?
Yeah. What horse am I supposed to bring to this? Yeah.
How big a rope do I got to have to laugh on this thing? You know, you said 2007 was your first appearance at National. How'd that feel? How did that? What was your feelings?
Well, I mean, I was very happy that I won, but I mean, it didn't really hit me until I got to the nationals. And seeing all these professional drivers, 50 or 45 in each class, and yeah, it was your first year is very overwhelming, and it was for me anyway.
Right.
With all the excitement, and I mean the way the companies support their drivers, it's yeah.
So go ahead. You got another one, Steve?
I was just going to add to that. Did you have happen to you what happened to me? I won my class in 2014, 3-axle class. I come home on Sunday. Everything's fine. We stopped by my son's college dorm and showed him the trophy, and everything was good. Everything, fine. I get up Monday morning, get a shower, go to work, get all hooked up. Everything's cool. I start down the ramp, and it's like I had a steer tire. That wheel just, I was shaking. I was scared to death. I thought everybody was coming at me. I didn't.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. But, with the TDC, to me, it's a family. Yeah. I mean, I got friends from Maine to Oregon, from, Florida to North Dakota.
Wait a minute. I know who your friend in Oregon is.
Well, yeah.
Let me ask you a question here, and then we'll move on to the next part of the interview here. So, do you mentor other drivers, and do you encourage them to get involved into the championships also?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I try. But there's just some people that just, I ain't going to do that, but yet they turn around and make fun of me for doing it, thinking, I don't know what they're thinking, to be honest with you. But yes, I do. This year, in fact, we had a big practice in our yard, and this guy wasn't going to do it at the beginning of the year. And I kept, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. I think the last day he finally signed up for it. And he actually ended up winning grand champion in the tanker class in South Dakota this year. So, I mean, wow. Yeah, no, it's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. Go ahead, Steve.
So, I done lost my train of thought now. Safety habit. Vince, we're talking TDC. Everything's got to be about safety and everything. What safety habit, do you swear by that you always practice behind the wheel?
Behind the wheel? Yeah. I say behind the wheel, I say keep alert. I mean, don't get distracted. Watch your surroundings. Keep a safe following distance so you don't get too close behind people. But out from behind the wheel, in my opinion, it's a post and pre-trip. I mean, I think that's one of the two most important things to do your pre-trip, make sure everything's in great working condition so you don't have any issues when you're out on the road or, cause any problems.
Right. Yeah. The last thing you want to do is get 5 miles down the road and have an issue and think, if I would have checked that before I left the yard, I would be sitting here right now.
Yep.
So what do you think sets a great driver apart from what we would consider an average driver?
Passion for the industry. A great driver is going to go above and beyond and do things that the average driver is just there just to get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Professionalism too, I guess.
I got you. And I also, as a champion and a professional driver, how do you stay sharp mentally, physically on the road? And I know you heard this question before.
Plenty of rest.
Plenty of rest. I get my rest there. And I think we've all heard that question.
It's in the TDC. No, but it's true, though. I mean, when you get plenty of rest, you're not tired and you're, be more alert and pay attention to what's going on the road.
Right. Okay. All right. Co-host. Go ahead, co-host.
Now I'm getting there. I'm not trying not to double talk my words like you did in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not bringing up any bad things or nothing, but now, Mike, I know you're a road team captain. You're on 3 different road teams. Okay.
Correct.
So when you go out and you talk to these young folks, what advice do you give a younger driver coming into the industry? Because there's a lot of negativity and stuff around the truck driving. What do you tell them?
Well, I guess when we're up there kind of giving our demonstrations of the share of the road or the no zone area, is don't be afraid of trucks. Respect trucks, but realize the stopping distance is way different than it is with a car. If you're alongside of a truck, don't hang alongside of them, and it's amazing. We did one here a week ago, 2 weeks ago, Tuesday, I guess, in a small town, driver's ed deal, and I mean the kids ask questions, about different things. How big is your fuel tank? And safety, like electric trucks. They brought that up, and I love talking to the younger driver ed kids about safety around trucks.
If one wants to come, say they're 17, 18, and they haven't passed the law yet for 18 to 20-year-olds to drive yet, but a young individual, young boy, young girl wants to get into the industry, what would you tell them?
Well, like I told them kids, I'm 60. I just turned 60 years old, and I've never had a speeding ticket. I mean, safety and don't get no violations. It is a major thing.
Right.
So what is one thing, and I think that this is a question that we should ask, Steve, remember this, that we should ask every professional driver that comes on here, but what's one myth about truck driving that, that you would like to bust, for the general public?
That we're reckless, don't care. I mean, you hear that all the time. Oh, that truck cut me off or did this and did that. And it's a myth. I mean, most truck car crashes, it's a car, like 80% of the time. It's not the trucks.
Right.
And the general public thinks it's usually the truck's fault all the time.
Yeah, and the problem with that is you got, lawyers trying to jump on the back of somebody's bumper when they see something happening like that, and that just drives me nuts,
And that's where them cameras now is really come in handy in trucks, where it's all being recorded so they can actually see what's going on.
Yeah, and I point that out at some of the safety demonstrations I do. I actually point that out to the young people, how beneficial the cameras are, not only just for seeing what's going on in the accident, but also for driver intervention too. Because, like
Absolutely.
I tell them, I'm not going to sit here and lie. There is some bad apples in the bunch there, but that's a good tool for driver intervention. And anyway, go ahead, Steve-O. I could kind of go on.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just to play on what you're saying, I got two things there. The one expression that I cannot stand is when people say killer trucks. And that's the reputation that we've got by lawyers and things like that, news reporters. And when somebody says, "Yeah, they're all killer trucks," I don't like to get around them. No, they're not killer trucks.
Right.
But to go with what you said, there is a bad apple in every bunch. And what I try to tell people is, if you have a bad experience with a particular driver, don't blame everybody. It's that individual. It's
Right.
that individual.
Right.
But if you experience have a bad experience with a driver, back out of it. Get off the ramp. Get away from the situation. Remove yourself from the situation. That's the best thing to do.
It is, Steve. It is. So just going up, and we're kind of getting down to the bottom of the hour here, and we're going to kind of go on down and kind of wrap this up here in with just a few more questions. I do want to get to Mike. What's been one of your proudest moments in your trucking industry?
My safety record. I mean, going 39 years and 4 million safe driving miles, I probably would say. And my family support. I mean, for all these TDCs I do, I mean, they're there helping me practice, and that's probably two of my
proudest moments there. Yeah, absolutely.
That is a tough one answer question right there, because it's multiple things.
Oh, it is exactly. Yeah,
it's multiple things, and I mean, it's every year you get a safety award. That is a proud moment right there. Every year you get that hat pin and get that certificate. A lot of people just like shove them in the drawer. Not me. I look at it all the time and say, you know what? I've been out here X amount of years, got X amount of safe driving awards, and that's when it started for me. I mean, when I got my first 6-month safe driving letter, I thought, wow. And then you get a year, and then you want 2, then you want 3, then you want 4, and then you get into the TDC, and you got to drive safe for 12 months.
Absolutely.
So, there's those little goals there. But,
yeah.
And that's another good problem with the program with the TDCs. I mean, it makes the driver actually drive better because he's, he wants to get to the state, and then he wants to move to the nationals. And
Exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is a driving factor for sure. So looking ahead, Mike, do you have any goals left to accomplish in your trucking history, or anything that you're putting out there that you want to accomplish?
Well, I guess, I mean, as far as goals, getting out to more people, help educate them around, about us being out on the roads with them, with the road teams, the 3, like you said, the 3 different road teams that I'm on. And I do have one, I guess. I want to make it to nationals a couple more times, and because the company that I work for has this, I can't think of what it's called, award. If you win 15 times at state, help me out, guys. What is it?
Ace Award?
Ace Award, yeah, the AAA. Yes, thank you.
Yeah. Every 5 years, you become an ace, and then you, like you said, the 15, you'll be a triple ace.
Yep.
So I mean, that's just that's awesome. One last thing for me, buddy. What kind of legacy you hope to leave behind?
I hope people, I mean, the ones that I've helped, basically pay forward to everybody. In the trucking industry, with my safety record, and hopefully people can look back and say, "Oh yeah, I remember Mike Whitehead. I mean, he helped me with this, or he helped me with my first TDC, or helped me at nationals, or just help me being a better and safe driver."
Right.
Did he freeze up, or is it me?
No, I think everybody's fine.
Okay, all right. It might have been my end. It might have been at my end. Mike, thank you for coming and sharing. Do you want to stay on with us while we bring Tim on? You might have some questions you want to ask.
All right, sure, I'll stay on. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it very much. I mean, this is an honor. Thanks so much. Let me do this.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, everybody, this is Mr. Mike Whitehead, and we'll. We appreciate you, Mike, coming on. But we're fixing to bring our other champion in here, Mr. Tim Chelette there. So let's bring him in on the theme song, everybody. Everybody, Mr. Tim Chelette on Truckers Voices tonight. Tim, how you doing there, brother?
Man, I am doing wonderful. How about y'all?
Good. Say hello to Steve and Mike.
Yeah, Mike. Hey, congratulations to all the things I've been hearing the first half of the show. Steve, man, what a score on the TDC, huh?
Yes.
That was a lucky day. That was a lucky day.
Hey, y'all look at him. Look at him. Do this, Steve. Do this right here. How many rings you got there, brother?
Well, we got the wedding band.
That's all I got is my wedding band on. I have my other safety rings that's in the drawer.
We got our
They guys,
and we got the driver of the year ring. So,
show us, Mike.
my safety.
Yeah, I got one of those that's in the drawer though. I don't wear it, so anyway, I should wear it.
My dad told me about this one. He said, "Now take it home, put it in the jewelry box because you'll scratch it up getting in and out of the truck." I said, "I'm wearing that driver of the year ring every day."
Yeah, I heard that.
No jewelry box.
Well,
awesome.
Tim, it is your part of the show. We thank you for coming on Truckers Voices and sharing with us what's going on and what's been going on, all the changes that you've had going on. But
definitely, I appreciate y'all having me.
Yeah, and Steve and I, we got some questions for you here, but just tell us a little bit from the beginning. Start out beginning. How did you get into the trucking industry, and then you can kind of bring us up to speed from there.
I worked distribution center for 10 years, and then working in the office atmosphere, and I started talking to some of the drivers. And I'm like, this might be something I might be interested in. And I remember as a kid going down the road, and I'm like, I wonder where these guys are going. I mean, it's no way that I could do that job. And then guess what? 23 years I done it. 2.9 million miles accident free, and it's been absolutely phenomenal to do what I've done the last 23 years.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. And you've racked up over your career some safe driving miles. Tell us a little bit about that real quickly.
9 years ago, I started winning awards. I won driver of the year for the state of Tennessee. I had drove a Big G Express for 19 years. And I tell you what, I won driver of the year for them. I won the Pilot Road Warrior contest. I rode National Driver of the Year for the TDC for the TCA. And I'm gonna tell you, it just seemed like everything had just really fell in my place. I never thought in a million years when I started driving in 2002 that I would win these awards. And then when I started becoming like a Tennessee road team captain, and I went on to be a ATA, America's road team captain as well, it really made me I went from feeling like I was just a truck driver to a professional truck driver. And it really brought out the better person in me. I looked at things so much differently, and so now it's landed me a job, and now I'm a safety and compliant manager for a company, and it's just been unreal the last month that I have transitioned over.
Right. Go ahead, Steve.
Now, Benji went into safety and traffic manager and stuff like that. What made your decision to go that way? Come out from behind the wheel?
Winning all these awards, and I used to work the office atmosphere back before I started driving. And I never missed it driving. I really love driving. And I tell people that you have two lanes. You have to love the driving lane that you do as a professional driver, as we all have done. And then you also got to love the trucking industry. And when I transitioned over and started loving the trucking industry as much as I love driving a truck, and winning all these awards, it really made me miss that office atmosphere again. And I had a good friend of mine who owns Crossland Trucking. He's been trying to get me to to work for him for a couple of years. And I tell you what, and things have changed so much in the trucking industry. Um, about a month and a half ago, I had a guy pull a pistol on me going down the road, and that really changed a lot for me in the industry. I'm like, it's really getting dangerous out here for us as being as being a professional driver and caring as much as we do about our job. It's really getting dangerous out here for us. A month before that, one of our drivers that I drove with got shot at down in Florida and put 4 bullet holes in the side of his truck, and then turned around and it happened to me. The guy never shot at me, but he did pull a pistol on me. So it's really getting dangerous out here as being a driver.
Yeah, and we see road rage all the time, and we see videos of road rage and everything like that. And
Right.
you're definitely right. You definitely got to be on guard, and keep your so what keep your head on a swivel. Whenever you was a truck driver over the years, has trucking changed from what you started from to? And I know it has. You just said it did, but tell us from when you started and how much it's changed since then.
When I first started driving in 2002, you can actually have a good conversation with somebody on a CB and be very educational, learning the industry. Now, if you do turn your CB up and try and learn what's going on around you, you really don't want to hear that kind of talk. It has really hurt the industry more than it's been helping the industry. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And so, and I tell people all the time, you can line 9 people up and look very professional, and you'll have one driver that's dressed like what the American people designed us to look like, and that's the only person they're going to remember. People
Right.
like me and you and Steve and others that really care about this industry, they don't look at us like that.
Mm-hmm.
you know
Mm-hmm. Oh,
that really truly care. I tell people all the time, each and every time that I got behind the wheel of a semi truck, I looked at the people around me as being part of my family, and therefore it was my job to make sure they got home safely to their family. But if they would have the same mentality toward me, then look at the amount of accidents that would not happen on the interstate, because everybody is slowing down just a little bit. You're not going to get there any quicker. You know that. We know that.
that's right.
But people are always in such a hurry to get there when they can slow down just a few more miles an hour and maybe not have that accident going down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You're right.
Right. Now, Tim, when I'm sure whenever you got new drivers coming in, going through orientation and stuff, uh, what's your approach as a safety man? Because you've been there, done that, you know the trials, the tribulations, but you also know the good times, and the good times outweigh the bad times.
Absolutely.
But how do you approach drivers and not talk to them, tell them about the realization without scaring them away?
Right. And that's what I tell people. I say, you got truck drivers and you got professional truck drivers. And I want each and every one of y'all that comes through here had the mindset of being a professional truck driver. Regardless of every time you think that I'm just some truck driver. No, you're not just some truck driver. You're somebody who is moving the American good across this country. And you are very an essential worker for what we need to be able to move today's freight. And so
Right.
therefore you're a big part of this industry. Now I tell people, now you have some people that think without drivers, America was shut down. And you're correct. I mean, at some point you are correct, but it's also a circle. You know as well as I do. You got load planners, you got dispatchers, you got salespeople, you got customer service. So it's a circle, and that's why I tell people you got to love being a professional driver as well as you do as loving the industry, because it takes all of us to make this circle complete.
That's right. That's exactly right, Tim. Um, I wanna give Mike. Do you want to ask him any questions there, Mike? I mean, this is a full roundtable discussion going
Yeah.
on here, brother.
Well, not right now, I guess. I'll think on a good question for you, Tim.
All right, all
Come
right.
on now, Mike. I need it. I'm digging the hat. I really like it, man.
I like it.
If I
Well,
knew he was wearing cowboy, I would have went and put mine on.
Yeah.
that would definitely been hilarious if you have both of you with cowboy hats on. For
Yeah.
sure. Now we do see the deer head over your shoulder there. So
I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love to hunt. Yes, I do.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm trying to figure out how we got him got that fishing pole out of his hand.
yeah, right.
I'm gonna now, can I tell you the story about the deer
Yeah,
head?
sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. The deer head belonged to my brother. He was 17 when he shot the deer, and that happened in the wintertime in September, and that was his first deer that he had ever killed. And so February 16th, we was moving from one house to another, and man, we was all excited. We had just got a new house and all that. And back then, back in 77, you could still ride in the back of trucks and stuff. We had our load secure, we had it tied down, but God has a plan for everything. A gust of wind came through, knocked the back of the knocked the load out and knocked him out of the back of the truck, and he passed away. So that's
Oh,
his first deer he ever killed, and the only deer he ever killed. And so therefore, I have his deer head here in my house with me, and so anyway, it means a lot to me. So he passed away at the age of 17. I was going on 12 years old when that happened. So I'm the baby of 8, so it really means a lot to me.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for
That's a
sharing
good
that.
story. Thank you for sharing
yeah.
it. Yeah, for sure. So, you're being in the safety role of the trucking industry now. What's the biggest safety issue you see drivers struggling with today, Tim?
Uh, right now, I'm having a problem with load securement, properly, because I deal with flatbed right now. So I'm dealing with, and I've only got one or two that's really going against the grain, because they're not being used to being held accountable. But everybody else has been like really been great professional drivers, really handling it well. But I got a couple of them that's going against the grain. But you know what? We're going to work through it. We're going to move forward, and we're going to get through this. I can guarantee you. But the biggest thing has been about load securement.
Right, right. Well, I'm going to open up the phone lines right now, but as I'm opening up that phone line, I'm going to let Steve ask you the next question there. But I want to tell the listening audience, if you want to call the show and ask a question, you can call the number 251-616-2151. I'll put it in the chat, but that's 251-616-2151. Go ahead, Steve.
Tim, what's one lesson that every driver, no matter how much experience they got, needs to be reminded of?
Never forget where you started from. Always remember, regardless of what changes have taken over, and we got to deal with changes all the time. You know that.
Right.
Always remember where you got started and now where you're ending. Make sure that where you got started is better than where you're going to end at, because of the fact that if that's the case, then that means you have grown in your industry of what you need to learn about the trucking industry.
Right. Exactly. And you said it a while ago with, the persona. A lot of people's got that, I think we've kind of got away from that blue jeans, boots, chain drive wall with cowboy
Right.
hat. I think we've got away from the
You
chair.
know, well, hey, don't make fun of the hats.
I'm not trying to. But I think we've got away from the Smokey and the Bandit type deal.
Right.
But now we've kind of went into the shorts and flip flops and greasy, dirty looking clothes and stuff. And I try to tell new drivers, I said, hey, when you're walking in a restaurant, walking into a rest area or something, open the door, let people go ahead of you. You
Right.
know, because they're going to know. Even though I've got that company uniform on, and we all look the same at my company, they see me get out of that truck, and I walk up there and get to the door first, open the door. Have a nice day, folks. How y'all doing today? Give them that different persona. If they had a bad experience, maybe that will change their mind. You know,
Steve, I want to feed off of that. I helped do a commercial when I was, as an ATA captain, which we were ATA captains, and that's a great experience. And I tell people all the time, if you ever have that opportunity, jump on it because it really opens up a lot of doors. And so I went to Florida to help shoot a commercial, right? And the guy says, I didn't really know what a truck driver looked like, so I had to Google what a truck driver looked like. And he had a flannel shirt on, t-shirt, and a cap on, right? I'm like,
right,
well, my thing was, well, I'm in khakis and a nice shirt, so what is the truck driver supposed to look like? You know what I mean? So, but the bad thing about it, because I was his double and I had to back into these parking spots and all that, I had to wear the flannel shirt and all that other good stuff.
oh Lord, oh Lord,
Yeah. So that's but you know what? That's the way America looks at it. Flip-flops. And so I tell people all the time, I said, if we could get the mindset of that being changed,
right?
they would look at us and say, you know what, they thought it was essential when we was delivering the stuff during COVID. But we're the same people that we was then as we are today.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But they don't look at us again. They looking at us COVID before we started COVID is how they looking at us again. And so we still haul today's goods just like we did then, now, and going to continue on doing it.
Right.
Right, right. So, what is one lesson every driver, no matter how experienced that he or she is, that we need to be reminded of every day? What's one lesson?
I'm gonna say patience. Patience is a hard thing to learn. But you know what? As much as we have to deal with drivers cutting us off or saying we're number one or whatever, the guy pulling the pistol on us, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's how you react behind that wheel is how you're going to reflect the rest of that day.
yeah. And I'm
And
going
so
to ask you.
therefore, if you can continue to have patience and be able to control that, your day is going to end up a lot better at the end of the day than it was before all that started.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, Tim, what was your initial reaction to that when he pulled that pistol on you, and how did you handle that?
I th- I thought I was going to die that day, tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Um, the only thing that I could think of was if I was going to die, I couldn't put what was happening was I was passing semi trucks. My truck does 70 miles an hour. My truck was doing 70 miles an hour in a 70 miles an hour speed zone. So I wasn't not going underneath the speed limit. So it took me about a mile and a half, 2 miles to get around this truck.
Mm-hmm.
Some of these owner operators, you deal with them. We all deal with them that kind of plays games with you sometimes. But I
Oh
was
yeah.
able to
Oh
get
yeah.
around him,
Yes.
held me up about a mile and a half, 2 miles. So before I can get over, I'm gonna give the respect to the driver regardless of how he acted. You know what I'm saying? So before I can get over, the guy behind me come and cut him off and come up beside me. So he's waving his hands, he's all upset and different things. And I just held my hand up like, hey man, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? And that really triggered him. He pulled that pistol out and aimed it right at me. The only thing that I could think of was he's got a pistol and I have a semi truck. And the only thing I have to protect myself is my semi truck. So I came over on top of him. And so I was able to push him over onto the side of the road, onto the shoulder and part of the grass. And then he was able to gas on it and come around me. By then I was able to put my brakes on and slow down because that's what we should do. We should always put our brakes on, try and get away from that person that's acting like that. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to trigger him even more. So, but I couldn't do that when I was in the left lane. I was able to do that once I got over to the right lane, and then he gassed on it, and then he went on and left me alone. And then that's when it really set in. I'm like, man, I thought I was about to die. And
Hmm.
so therefore, I had to actually pull over on the side of the road. I mean, I was shaking, and I've been driving for 23 years, and I've never had this happen before. I
Right.
was I was upset because I felt like I had done nothing wrong. I held this guy up maybe a couple of minutes. You know what I'm saying? And
Right.
so therefore, if people would understand that you're not going to get there any quicker by going 75 or 80 miles an hour or somebody going 70 miles an hour. You're going to maybe save a couple of minutes. Is
Right.
your life really worth saving a couple of minutes? And is it really worth having to pull a pistol on somebody that's delivering the goods that you're going to order from somebody anyway? I mean, I was
Right.
going to a Home Depot. Everybody
Right.
shops at Home Depot and the Lowe's, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
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 Wow.
So, but it really did. It shook me up pretty bad, and
Yeah.
I've had people cut me up. We've all had people cut us off. We've had people waving their hands at us and stuff. We know that's going to happen. But
Yep.
it gets to a point where somebody's going to pull a gun on you. It's
It makes,
getting crazy.
yeah, you fear for your life at that point. Yeah. Go ahead,
Right?
Steve.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just to kind of get back to the role that you're in right now, what's your long-term vision for
Hey,
what?
hold on. Hey, hold on just a minute. We're going to take a call here. How about that?
Okay.
Hey, welcome to Truckers Voices. Who do I have on the line here tonight?
Sandy Whitehead.
Hey, Sandy Whitehead. What got your husband on the other side of the screen here? What do you want to say to
I
our
know it.
panel of drivers tonight?
Well, you wanted questions for the panel, and I'd just like to know if everybody drives as safe in their personal vehicles as they do those big trucks.
Yeah, we'll start out with Mr.
Does that all carry on when you leave work? Do you continue all that safety stuff you should be doing?
Yeah, let's let Mr. Mike Whitehead answer that, and then you answer it, Tim.
All right.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's just that's like I told you guys earlier. I've never even had a speeding ticket. So yes, no, and I keep the following distance in my car, same as I do in the truck. I mean, I'm aware of my surroundings. So yes, absolutely.
Hey, Sandy, do you help him drive at all?
No, I don't need to do that. He is always a good driver.
Okay,
Always a good example. He's a good example for me. I'll put it that way.
absolutely. I tried to get you there. Tim, go ahead. Tim Chelette, go ahead and answer that question there.
I want to tell you that's true love, right?
Yeah.
My wife loves telling me how to drive. And so, but anyway, now you have to handle yourself in your vehicle the same way as you handle yourself in a semi truck. And I think that's what separates people from being a professional driver. It really reflects on how and you know, I've done a lot of motorcycle rides, and a lot of people enjoyed me being the leader of that motorcycle ride because of the fact that, you know, our job as drivers, we're always scanning our mirrors.
Right.
And people used to tell me all the time, they saw like, you could see things that we didn't even see going down the road. Just like yesterday, we had a grand opening for a second location. And so I'm riding with a guy that used to drive for a company. And I'm like, you have a gator in the middle of the road. And it was probably 4 car lengths ahead. And he's like, how do you know that? And then all of a sudden, here comes the gator and he's having to dodge it. He's like, I'm like, because that's what we do. We look ahead. We're make adjustments for things that we see ahead. And so therefore he was going back today and telling everybody like, man, he's got supernatural sights or whatever. I'm like, no, I was just doing my job.
Well,
So-
Sandy, you still on the line with us?
I am.
Okay, so tell us. I'm glad I got you on the
Whoa,
line.
whoa! Wait a minute. Now we didn't okay these questions to my wife.
So, Sandy, tell us what it's like during TDC season with Mike and how competitive he is, and you know, and whatever you want to tell us there.
Well, he is very competitive. He is very, very focused, and he gets nervous, but he's just a professional about all of it. It's exciting to go to TDCs. Um, it's a wonderful opportunity to get back with all the friends, like he said, that we meet from all over the country. We already got a map planned out of where we want to go visit people when we retire. So, yeah,
Well, you guys, I have to put South Georgia on that plan now. So you got to come visit us down here
Absolutely.
there you go.
on your way to Florida.
Yeah, yeah.
And Tim, I want to chime in on it, what she was saying.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, every driver that I feel that's successful out here, you could tell that she stands beside her guy that's being as the professional driver, as well as my wife does the same thing. She's come out on the road with me and seen what I've gone through and stuff like that, and
Right.
she understands what it's like to be a driver. And so
Mhm.
therefore, how we put safety first every time we get behind the wheel of that semi truck. And I'm gonna tell you right now, hats off to you for having a wife that does that, because I know I had the same thing. So
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and we applaud you too, there, Sandy.
Yes.
So-
Absolutely.
So thank you for calling the show, Sandy.
Yep. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
And you know, I can hear her in the background talking too. There's
I was
Mike.
wondering about that. I was kind of wondering about that. Yeah.
I thought she was going to say, "Tell Mike it's supper time."
Yeah.
Well, you guys, it has been a great night. It is actually 9 o'clock on the dot, and I do have one additional question for each of you, Mike. Well, not really a question. I want you to just tell us and you know, give a shout out to your dad, because I'm really impressed with your dad. How about that?
Yeah. Yeah. My dad's 94 years old. He still lives out on the farm. We still got cows. And yeah, I mean, tonight I had this show, so I had to hurry up and get home to get to this because I got home 15 minutes before it started. But yeah, he went out there and fed the cows. And yeah, he's pretty active for 94 years old. So he does really good. Very,
Yeah.
very, very proud to have him as a father. Yes. With Father's Day coming up. Happy Father's Day, Dad.
There you go. Yeah, and happy Father's Day to all the dads. I'm glad you reminded us of that, you know. And but Tim, as we get ready to close the show out, and we're fixing to go on the bottom line here. We've been driving this show for a while now, so we're fixing to go on the bottom line and go on duty before we actually go off duty here. I like using that reference. It just sounds good, don't it? But anyway, Tim, tell us a little bit about what you're looking forward to as far as your role as a safety leader in this industry, and go ahead and put a plug in for Crossland Trucking there and some of the needs that y'all have.
I'm gonna tell you, Crossland Trucking is a family-owned trucking company. They've been in business for a long time, and so therefore, everybody that works there, like how I got into it was, I've known one of the guys there.
Oh, he froze up.
Oh, he froze up. Yep, he sure did.
Yep, he froze up.
Has been there for a long time. So therefore, moving over into we all know the rules and regulations for driving a semi truck.
Right.
Now I'm on the other side, and I'm implement those rules and regulations toward drivers. So, I've lived out of my suitcase over the road for 23 years. So now I'm on the other side of the fence. So now I want the drivers to know I'm not against them. I'm for them. I'm here to help protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I've been in the truck riding with some of the drivers and helping them strap down loads and different things to that nature. And I even about a week and a half ago, I rode with a driver and it was pouring down rain and I got soaking wet. And that guy said, "I can't believe you got out there and done that." I'm like, "How can I ask you to go and do that?" And me sit in the truck, I said, "I'm no different than you. I have a Class A license just like you do.
Right.
So therefore, I'm no different than you. So I'm going to be out here helping you strap this load down, just like you're going to be out here doing it." You know what I mean? And so I want them to know that I'm on their side. I'm here to protect them, not pull them down. And
Right.
so therefore it's really starting to show each and every day. When I first got there, if they see me walking across the yard, they would walk away from me. They didn't even want to talk to me. And now they're coming up and they're shaking my hand and really appreciate that I'm there. So it's really has come a 360 circle for me, and it's really starting to pay off by doing the things I'm doing with the drivers and stuff.
Absolutely. And we thank you for that. And we thank you for what you're doing. Are y'all hired?
We are hiring. We are hiring over the road drivers, and we are now needing about 3 positions for local drivers as well. So, and their pay is very competitive too. So that's really good.
Okay. If y'all know somebody that needs a job, or they can find you on Facebook. They can also find you on TikTok. But anyway, it's been a great show tonight. Mike Whitehead, thank you very much for coming on and taking your time out to share with us. Yep. And Tim, thank you for coming back on and sharing with us on how, what you're doing now. Real quick, like both of you, Mike, what's a word of advice you want to give somebody as far as safety goes?
Remember, safety starts with S, but it begins with you.
Absolutely. Tim, word of advice here.
At the end of the day, slow down, be courteous to others, regardless if they're courteous to you or not. Always try and be courteous to others, because therefore you can save a life by being just a little bit more courteous than what the people are around you. So slow down just a little bit and arrive safely at the end of your trip.
Absolutely.
And be patient.
I
love that.
Yes.
I love that. Yes.
Well, we got the music playing in the background, so this is the end of the show here. Steve-O, let's end this show on a good note and go off duty here in just a minute.
Steve, again, congratulations, brother.
Thank you. You guys stick around. We'll talk to you after the show here. Appreciate you being on. Appreciate everybody listening. Tune in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. You can hear the show again. And remember, like I always say, the most important trip is that trip home.
Absolutely. Thank you, Steve, for that. And also, y'all remember we're on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Facebook, YouTube. Man, you can find us anywhere. If you're going down the road, you can go back and listen to old episodes. You get bored with all the other stuff, on XM and all that other stuff. Y'all come and check out Truckers Voices. We always got something fresh and new, and always wanting to hear your story right here on Truckers Voices. And y'all remember, we deliver success by being safety. See y'all right here on Truckers Voices in a couple of weeks.
Out on the blacktop, the moon hanging low. 2 truckers riding where the big ridge roll. Tool man's got a story, 10 speed's got a laugh. They're spinning tales on the radio pad with a CB buzz and a coffee cup. They're rolling hard, never giving up. From coast to coast, their words take flight to kings on the highway, rolling through the night. It's 10 speed and 2-man tales from the road. Stories of the weigh-ins and heavy loads. From the desert sands to the Great Smoky Pines, they're sharing their lives 1 mile at a time. Remember that time in Amarillo town? We broke down the truck, but still made it round. Tool man grinned and the diner burned out, but we got a pie before they shut it down. 10-speed chuckle, how about that storm? Lightning so close, it kept the rig warm. They swapped their stories like an old school jam. Just 2 truckers living off the land. It's 10 speed